I think it's fine. We'll find out where we go. Yeah, we will be happy to let you know.
Thanks, Jason. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question. How are you dealing with the nonprofits?
Wow. Well, you know, I don't want to speak too out of turn, but there's a place for nonprofits, but nonprofits should not be in the business of dictating public policy. They should not be in the forefront of project development and decisions about water with respect to general plan direction, issues that are critical to the county's long-term future. So there's a constant battle to determine who's really leading this effort, who's in charge of this. Maybe some comments from different board members, but my role as staff has been, the direction of the board has been to try to be as the county, the public officials, and the agency, and the people surrounding the decision-making process with respect to water need to be accountable. And the structure of the Irwin process, as Randy Wilson pointed out earlier, is that those people are public officials on the steering committee, and so they're accountable to people. They don't meet without notice. They don't meet behind closed doors. They don't, they're responsible for compliance with certain statutes that make you accountable. And unfortunately, that's not been the case. So the county's resolution, and I know Clovis County adopted a similar resolution, that's created quite a stir because the nonprofit agencies and nonprofit organizations having a difficult time trying to understand how to work with that statement of policy. Because that's not their nature. Is that fair?
Could I ask? Could
Okay, go ahead.
does Sierra County have coordination that they've invoked through the NEPA law?
Yes, in June 2012, the Board of Supervisors adopted a resolution invoking the coordination statutes, coordination process, and as a result notified every federal agency of their intent to expect that type of
Are
coordination.
they working with you?
No. To a great extent, no. In some cases, yes, and they're going overboard. A couple of ranger districts are working overtime trying to satisfy with the information exchange. We're still having a difficult time with some agencies who have just elected not to participate, whether that's because of turnover or they just they don't have us in the loop.
Well, in Lassen County, we've been working with the county supervisors as part of I'm not part of the coordination committee, but I go up to all the meetings. And we've had some real successes with the foresters, and we're looking for more. And we've got, the BLM comes to every meeting we have, and they give us notice of, that's what we told them. With the coordination process, you have to involve us before you even, when it's a gleam in your eye. And so we have, Leanne comes over from the Plumas Forest, and works really well with telling us what's going on because we're affected by them. So maybe what you need to do is send them a letter, another letter, and tell them you're invoking coordination on this matter. And make them come to the deal, because you can, through the coordination law and NEPA, with the authorization of the county supervisors, you can hold their feet to the fire.
Understood, and that initial contact was made. I'm not sure whether the board wants to repeat that contact, but that's a good suggestion. That would be a decision the board would have to make. But we do have a number of success stories involving the Plumas, certainly with Leanne's help, the Sierra Ranger District, and we're seeing an improved situation occurring on the west side of the county. But we still have holes in the big picture with respect to coordination and the flow of information.
Well, coordination's about the only thing that we really, really can do, when we're dealing with the federal agencies, when we're in a small county situation, just like we all are. Like I told them, I said, I don't know about the state of Jefferson, but we got to work on the Jefferson principle and work together. But we have invoked coordination, and we've had where they have to come, and they're happy to work with us. But you have to force them to do what the NEPA law says. Because if you don't, they're just gonna run over you. They'll figure that, you know what, you're totally ineffective, and you're not gonna do anything.
Jason, has Sylvia Milligan been involved with your group? Because I know she's been really good at working with all the various counties and providing coordination between the counties as we should reach the coordination efforts in the counties. And I know that helps a lot to get the agencies to the table to work with them.
We received a lot of information from that individual during the OSU travel management hiatus, but
She goes beyond even just the OHV stuff. She's worked with
Right now, Sylvia and the city of Reading are involved in the coordination against CARB in California. And it's what they've been doing, you know, with, in respect to the, forcing the truckers, you know, to do something. And they're working very hard on it. They have Fred Kelly Grant there. They're gonna sue. They're just getting the money together. You know, and I mean, it's not it puts a bad taste in your mouth to have to fight with the government.
for information.
Well, for anything, you know, I mean, because they're supposed to support us, and it's really bad. I've lived in Lassen County. I don't live there right now. I'm in Plymouth County at Eleanor, but I've been in Lassen County a good portion of my life. And we've always been the one that has to get whatever they want to give us. And, you know, that's what this NEPA law, you can fight. Yes, you have to sue, but it's the only thing that allows the lawsuits against the government. You can sue all the groups, all the user groups can come in and sue all they want, but the NEPA law does or afford us this tool. And I would encourage you to use it. I mean, even if we get beat down, hey, it's better than not trying.
And coordination gives you an equal spot at the table. Like she said, you come in on the process a lot sooner.
Understood. And I think those principles were carried through when the board adopted its resolution, but it's been a slow process to get all the federal agencies to come on board. But
You just gotta keep at it.
It gets tiring.
We have the S 32 because we're close to Tahoe and at the top of the forest because the politics in Tahoe is keeping a lot more swirling than the politics we have with the rest of the
Agreed.
And that affects, I think, the cooperation on it we should be able to do. And that's where coordination is really benefit a lot.
Like I said, we've got the four major watersheds. It's a little challenge because every time you turn around, there's somebody else.
I know we really appreciate the leadership Plymouth County's taking with the Sierra Valley, with the Irwin process. But we're involved in the Caddy Group, which is the Consumers, American Bear, and the Yuba River on the west side. And there's the Truckee River system on our southeast corner. I know we have the Long Valleys that we share with Lassen County and the Honey Lake Valley, and then we have the Sierra Valley, of course. We have 4 RCDs, and so it tends to be a pretty busy and pretty awesome task to try to keep on top of everything related to water that's going on right now. Yes, sir.
North County has a coordination process in place, and it has worked for the last 20 years. Yeah, and
Yeah, Sean came down to a board meeting and made a presentation, and that was pretty humble.
I encourage you to contact Sean Curtis in regards to this out of Modoc County and get the information you can to help build you and guide you through a coordination process. I'm not saying it's perfect, but at the same time, it does force them, like the lady said, it does force them to the table to come and talk to you about projects and everything that are going along. All of these counties up there, one of my concerns are that they give you 30 days to respond to something instead of actually coming up and giving you time to actually research it. They don't want scientific information or data that's out there for any of our counties to present before them and tell them that they're wrong. They just want to get the comments on the line and get going with the process.
Understood.
So one of our issues, and that's the issues that all of us have to take into play with Downing's office, Gaines, and everybody else, anyone else you can talk to, and also in Washington DC back there with the Lamoff's office, is to deal with the fact that we've got to have a place to start at the top and work our way down instead of at the bottom and work our way up, because we get stuck in the bureaucracy of the federal government with the National Forest Service, with the middleman that doesn't want to make the decision because that person's going to lose his or her job if they make the wrong decision. So we have to start with our people that are upstairs, having the people upstairs tell the people downstairs what needs to be done. So that's one of our issues that we're working on right now, on a number of issues, grazing issues, forest issues, water issues, sage grouse. Sage grouse is a very important issue. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Very important issue for our economy, for our livelihood.
Yeah. Well, we do have some success stories related to the Forest Service, and so I don't want to make it sound like it's all in one bath. In fact, we have quite a few recent success stories. The front that we're really concerned about now is not only the coordination with federal agencies, but is the nonprofits and the accountability that is associated with nonprofit decisions. Those are concerning.
Well, it's going to take things from us to put the things together that really affect us and give them the answers to the problem.
We take our resolution, we send it to all 21 funders. State and federal level, so says, look, we're gonna send money here. We expect it to be done to us.
And you have to follow through.
There's a lot of them that are still mad, there's still a lot of heartburn around them.
We have another question from the floor.
Well, it's not really a question. I just wanted to point out something. Modoc County has been doing this for a long, long time. And they've had some really good successes, and one of them was that by Modoc County being in the coordination process, they affected the dam licensing down below. And where they weren't going to take, whenever they were going to take out the dams. And so they work really good with the Forest Service, and they have things that if the Forest Service can't do it, then the county can. And it takes a long time to get there, and I know you're very tired with the situation. But
It's that obvious, is it?
well, look at us.
What, it took us 2 years?
But how do these nonprofit organizations get their power?
Money.
All about money.
They find a particular way to find very competitive nature for public funds, for grants, foundation money. They're very good at securing funds for their stated purpose.
Well,
They use them against us.
Well, that's been said.
in the coordination process, you have to go through the government, and it has to go, agency to agency in the government. I would think that you could somehow stop it, because with the coordination process, it says you must come into compliance as much as possible with the county planning, through the Board of Supervisors. So it seemed like you could kick those people out of there.
Well, it's important to realize the coordination applies to federal agencies.
I will say this, just some of the common denominator things that have been expressed, it clearly defines why this quad county or more is absolutely essential.
Yeah.
Stick together. Then there's one other thing, one last quickie thing that I'm going to bring up. Now, I've heard some counties expressing their angst with the State Department of Water Resources. We're not connected with them for quite a number of years now. We have our own water masters. We collect our own fees and look after the interest of vested water rights owners, water rights people. And there's quite a number of them in Modoc County. And so we're not having heart attacks over, oh, not again, you're going to raise the rates, the fees, another 100 or 200%. When they pulled that stuff a few years ago, they wanted to do it 400%. That's when Modoc County put the brakes on. But my God, we're going to do something different here. We have. And so, if people here would, like to know a little tiny bit more about it, you're more than welcome to come and get some insights and see about how to structure something like that.
when you say coordination, does the Forest Service come to you and talk to you before they propose a project to the public, or how does your coordination work?
We have earlier access to the decision-making process of the public.
Before it goes to the public? That's my understanding of how that's supposed to work. We have a coordinating council where the Forest Service comes and tells us about the project, basically after they're already drawn. That is not coordination as far as I'm concerned. Coordination means that they will work with counties prior to going public and work out some of the details before. It sounds like your side works the correct way, and ours is not totally working the correct way.
It doesn't always work the correct way, but it works, in most part, it works, but it does not. We are sometimes behind the curve and sometimes we're not, but what it does give us is it does give us the opportunity to bring them to the table and talk to them about this and make sure that they know that we are interested in what's going on. And that's the most important factor of it, is getting the information before it's being shoved down your throat, instead of having it shoved down your throat. There's nothing you can do about it. But there still is issues that deals with public notification and notification of supervisors in the general area in a timely manner, because some of the stuff comes to you within literally 3 weeks or 4 weeks before the crop dated ground, and you're already, you've lost ground on it already. The three-coast belly frog and something. We've been on the ground with that in the red
Yellow Lake
the woodpecker.
Can I say one more thing?
At least you have a chance to present this, so if you want to have that red-headed woodpecker living there, we're going to have to burn up all the forest. Oh, wait a minute, we have burned up all of our forest, so therefore it shouldn't have any place to go. It should be
Black.
Go ahead and make your comment.
We were talking about the state. The state is coordinatable, because you'll find out how many you need to track it back. If there's federal dollars in their project, they're a quasi-federal agency. And there's a lawsuit coming up now that is going to be with that. That's the thing with CARB, is they're going to have to, they got $7 million from the federal agency, and they're telling us they're not responsible for any federal things. And so that's what this lawsuit is going to do. And you just have to keep telling them every time, like with Leanne came, you hold up this little chart and you go, this is where you're supposed to be, not down here. Because the county, the agency, they have a seat right at the top. And the Forest Service is supposed to come to you before they even do a project and say, how does this affect the county? Because the one thing that they never consider is the socioeconomic. And that's the thing that actually in this process, that's what it's there for, is for us to do our socioeconomic per county.
There's one other last comment I'm going to make. Whatever we heard right here, this is a constant work in progress.
Yes.
To keep this relationship as viable as it can be. And you've overheard the name Sean Curtis, our Natural Resources Director person. You can go to his office, and there's a large wall, and there's an impressive array of awards. That's only because of focus and keep a hands-on on it, and strive for that. It's not an easy relationship, but to keep it where it should be, and to the best of its ability.
Modoc County, or the Modoc Forest, is not part of Sierra Timber of the framework. And that was because of coordination. The rest of us are underneath that bold, okay.
The little county of Modoc is really, in a way, is really quite renowned nationwide, actually, for its efforts. It doesn't sound much, but it's a hell of a distinction.
Thank you. I'll quickly say on behalf of our efforts with coordination, Supervisor Kyle and myself sit on our coordination council, and I would say we're doing good success with communication. And like I said, our meetings are well attended. We normally have 2 representatives from the Plumas Forest and Colassin, sometimes attend. They're going through a leadership change, so. And as does the BLM attend. And so we are, it's good. I mean, it wasn't too long ago when I think the board just every now and again we get a visit in the boardroom and get a short, time certain update on projects once they're already well underway. And that climate has changed dramatically since the coordination, and we are getting wind of projects and going on well ahead of the game and having a much better opportunity. I don't know, I won't say that it's perfect, but I'll say that it's drastically improved over what it was before coordination. If there's no other, thank you. And I think we should move on unless somebody has something very urgent to say on this item.
Larry, I'd like to ask Paul a question about, what's going on with the one that's
We're changing. Currently, that much. Right now, biomass industry is on the upswing this year. We don't have to, so hopefully there will something come through. Everybody will stay back.
Go ahead.
I'd like to say something about coordination. Your reclamation came to the Board of Supervisors in Sierra County to explain to us their project to rehabilitate the Stampede Dam, which is the dam that Echoga Reservoir flows down the Truckee. I asked why exactly they needed to rehabilitate the dam at this point in time, and they told me and the board that the 250,000-year flood event is the reason why they needed to upgrade the dam. I explained that the last time, 250,000 years ago was an ice age, and saber-tooth tigers and other creatures were swarming the earth, and it was a little ridiculous, and they didn't think so. The Board of Supervisors expressed their dissatisfaction with the whole thing, how ridiculous it was. They did continue to come back and speak with us, different parts of the next time. We again told them we were against the project. It was going to affect the campground that we have over at Stampede Reservoir, cut off access to the road there, force travelers and visitors to go around a different way, it would have been more difficult for trailers and campers. It would have affected our county road system over there. Luckily, I did see an email come across recently that there are plans to start construction this summer, and just basically destroy our TOT funds and everything else over there, and work without permits is delayed. So coordination, I guess, in the way of communication is really the only thing that we benefit only. But did you get that email? Yeah. But as far as us being able to stop the project, there was no way. It was a $30 million federal disaster.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but they wanted us to be the lead agency on the project, correct?
Yeah, they actually asked us to be the lead agency for purposes of environmental review. And we didn't do that.
Yeah, I think it's important, all the counties, just keep the press on, and a couple of years ago, I started going to the biannual meetings in Sacramento with the regional forester and our state representatives, and I remember in the early stages, you mentioned that there was a big debate over the word coordination, and there was a lot of pushback from the government saying it didn't really mean anything, it was the same as cooperation and this and that, but since, they definitely seem to recognize that it does have teeth, and the things are moving in the right direction, I think. So anyway, our agenda called for a 5-minute break about 25 minutes ago, so we'll take a quick break and we'll come back.